the reckless speculation doesn't stop with Doogie.
Reckless speculation.
So first and foremost, congratulations to the Minnesota Twins. They have picked up, let's see here. Is my math right? This was their 39th win over the Yankees in their last 149 tries dating back 20 years.
Dancing Herbeck. That's what I'll give you. Dancing Kent. He's very happy about
39 and 110. So yesterday, at one point, well, first of all, congratulations to Declan, too, because he said, and we said, it's a home run. I'm going to write that down. He said the Twins are going to beat the Yankees by at least 5 in one of these games. Yeah. And they did, so nice work.
And I mocked him, and I'd do it again. I'd mock him again. I'd mock you again.
And then I sort of, I should have gone on the record, but at one point I made a casual passing mention of, hey, if they wind up beating the Yankees 9-1 or something, then, we can celebrate it on Thursday's show. And, of course, Judd scoffed at that notion, mocked it. But here we are.
Yep. Nope. I scoffed at it.
I was pretty much spot on.
Challenge accepted. 8-1. 8-1.
That's great.
Thanks to Giancarlo Stanton playing right field, which helped out.
Yeah,
man.
He's a butcher.
Rough, man. Yeah, the Yankees might have some problems in the field as they go forward here, but it might not matter with that starting pitching staff and the amount of home runs they hit.
You got a team here that can hit, though.
With the Twins you're talking about?
Yeah, Twins. That's impressive.
Well, they haven't even, too, like Luis Ariz wasn't playing last night. When's the last time we saw the actual A lineup, just straight up 1 through 9 with Buxton, Correa, Luis Ariz? I mean, there's so many guys that have missed time due to COVID or injury or scheduled off days. We don't get the A lineup on a regular basis. And they still, credit to some of these backup players that come in. Kyle Garlick got hot for a stretch, and Celestino was batting 300 plus. The guys that are filling in are doing an awesome job. Gio Urshela, not a fill-in, but he's been a wonderful addition.
Too.
What's that, Judd?
I said Miranda can hit.
No, I'm sorry.
What?
I thought you said I was
what?
You were right about that.
No. You were wrong and apologize about Miranda? Is that what you said? Sorry.
Oh, no, he's a butcher in the field. He has no business playing the field. At first base, my God, is he awful.
I feel like you and Patrick wanted him gone and buried in AAA a week and a half ago, and now he's one of their hottest hitters.
No, he's hit really well. He's hit really well for 2 weeks. And
the spastic overreaction baseball takes by Patrick Royce and Judd Zulgad on this show.
The dude should not be at first base ever. He is a butcher.
He's mashing. He is mashing. I'd like to see him DHing, I think. Okay. How about just a clean? I was wrong to want Miranda sent to the minor leagues.
I thought you were with me at one point.
Well, I wanted Lewis up, and I said Lewis up, and then whoever needs to go down can go down. And if it's Miranda, that's fine.
Okay, that's what you said. All right. Well,
I was kind of in the sidecar riding shotgun.
Well, then I'm not going to apologize to you. Then I don't owe you an apology. You were with me.
You've just been very aggressive with your takes about what's going to happen against the Blue Jays and the Yankees, and. Well, because it's baseball, it's not always a guarantee that they're going to lose 9 straight games. Okay, that's the lesson to be learned here over the last 7 days or so.
The interesting thing about last night's win was if you had done this right and had confidence in your team for Wednesday's game, guess what? Tuesday, you use high leverage guys, and you're up by so much on Wednesday that Tyler Duffy could have pitched.
Well, and Durant hasn't pitched in the series.
I know, but that's what But this is what
we agree on that. Yeah.
No, I know, but this is. But I told you, I was looking for the source of my angst, my anger, and I found it. It's the misappropriation of your decisions. That's my problem.
I think, and yes,
but they can hit.
On one hand, you can look at. Okay, they punted the game from a bullpen perspective for sure. I don't know what their alternative was to Cole Sands. They were just in a spot with Joe Ryan probably would have been the alternative.
He should have started.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, they were the Cole Sands. You got past it. You were down by 1. So I don't really. My anger is not fueled by Cole Sands.
Yeah. So if you would have run, the question is. If instead of running your most beleaguered reliever out there 2 nights ago, let's say you put Duran out there for 2 innings to keep it a 1-score game, and people are saying, well, they didn't score a run anyways, what's the difference? But I think it's a different approach with 9 outs down 1 than when you're automatically down by 5 and then 6. Would they have found a way to grind out a run, and could they be up? because they wound up being up so much last night that they did have those relievers lined up if they needed to, right? Griffin Jacks came in. But that's why you just, in the moment, whenever possible, you don't withhold good players and pitchers for future scenarios that may not come about. Because now you wind up looking at those two games, and Duran didn't pitch in either of them.
Right.
And now, great, he's available today, but like now, in retrospect, you could have used him on Tuesday night. But overall, I think getting 1 win out of 3, even if they lose today, is a win just based on where the Twins are at roster wise right now.
I guess my takeaway right now is this: you clearly have the bats to win games. So how do you manipulate your pitching the best possible to give those bats an opportunity to win said games, right? So look, if they just sucked, I'd say they suck, but they don't. And so that's where my frustration lies in, is like, you have to manipulate wins at times, and the easiest way to do that is knowing that your offense is going to probably produce. And I think your point, Phil, is dead on. I think when you send a message, hey, we're putting Duff in, these guys are human. They're like, oh, great, right? But if you're like, hell no, we're down by a run, screw it, let's go for it, I think that they approach it differently. So I'm
glad you brought up the notion of how can you massage your pitching to complement what this offense can be, because it is Reckless Speculation Thursday here.
Reckless speculation.
And now that we're all feeling good here, and who knows, maybe they get smoked today or something, but they took a game, they put a beat down on the Yankees. It doesn't happen very often here. We should at least celebrate it like an eclipse or something. But you and I have both brought to the table here short lists of potential. And these are all starting pitchers on my trade list. I don't know if they're all starters or are they a combination for you. They're all starters?
Nope,
okay.
It's all starters for me.
Because there's a bunch of relievers out there they should be going after too. But and Chris Archer, he walked a bunch of guys again last night, but he got through his 5 innings or whatever, and he was fine. But if you're really looking to stack up, take advantage of all the wins that you've racked up in the first couple months of the season, you're probably going to need to swing a trade for a starting pitcher. And so,
speculation.
Why don't you start? Who's on your list of potential targets for the Twins here? And I'll give you my list, and we might overlap a little bit too. We'll see.
Yeah. So here's the difficult thing about this discussion. The trade deadline is Tuesday, August 2nd at 5 p.m. Central. And because you now have an extra playoff team in each league, these lists are going to be a little bit fluid, because there could be some teams that are going to creep back into playoff contention and thus probably take their players off this potential list. But I'm going with Reds, A's, Rockies, Rangers, Pirates, Phillies. So like right now, that's a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
From the Reds, I've got 2 guys who I think are both going to be moved. And they are both right-handed pitchers. Tyler Mahle, who's 27, and Luis Castillo.
Mahle's having a terrible season, I believe.
Yeah, and Castillo is under, and this is where it gets intriguing, he is under team control through 2023. So you're actually getting a guy who wouldn't be considered a pure rental. From the A's, Frankie Montas, who we have talked about 1,000 times. From the Rockies, Herman Marquez. Now, here's where it gets intriguing. The Pirates have a veteran guy who I think disappointed last year with the White Sox and Angels, and now, not shockingly because of that, is in Pittsburgh, Jose Quintana, who at one point was a very big name and now is again in Pittsburgh. And then I've got 2.
Such is life.
And then I've got, well, you know what? He's still being paid, so he's probably pretty happy with it.
That was great analysis on Quintana. Was once a big name, and now he's in Pittsburgh.
And now he's in Pittsburgh. Well, what I'm saying is that's not like a guy who you're going to get and be like, oh my God, I can't believe that we got this guy. He's in the prime of his career now. And then the last 2 are former Twins, and both are interesting names. Having a great year, much like he did at the start of, I believe it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken, back in Texas, Martin Perez. Okay?
Martin Perez. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is on a 1-year, $4 million contract. He is 4-2. More importantly, much more importantly, in 11 starts, his ERA, 1.56.
Yeah, but I
again,
mean,
it's
come
the
on.
start. Right, I know. But again, it's the start. He didn't do this well in 19, but he got off to a great start and then, of course, came apart. And the last name is a name that I saw on Twitter yesterday. 34-year-old right-hander pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies, who are on a hot streak now since Joe Girardi was fired. Kyle Gibson, 4.40 ERA in 11 starts with the Phillies, and actually could be, don't laugh, a hot trade chip at the deadline. So those are the names that I've got.
Okay.
Speculation.
So I had a list of 4. There's one name on my list that you didn't throw out. So I'll throw this name out real quick, and then we'll have all the names, and then I've got takes on this. So Madison Bumgarner is I wouldn't say likely to be traded because there's still 2.5 years left on that contract that pays him $23 million this year, $23 million next year, and $15 million when he's like 35 years old.
Oh, wow.
But he's finally having a good season after 2 disasters, ERA-wise anyways. The problem is, so if you look at his ERA, you're like, oh, Madison Bumgarner's got 3-something ERA. He's kind of back to the old guy. Well, his velocity's down, his K rate is way down, his hard hit rate's way up, his contact rate is way up. I wouldn't touch him. Almost every name you just threw out there is worthless to what the Twins are trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And that includes like Kyle Gibson. So he's pretty good, little mid back of the rotation guy. I'm not interested in that. Mm-hmm. I have zero interest in the number 3 starter that's having a pretty good year, and you're gonna buy high on him like this Martin Perez thing. All right, Martin Perez has been a pitcher in the major leagues for 11 years, and he has a 4.52 earned run average over the course of 11 years. In the 4 years leading up to this season, his ERA is 5.15. Okay. Do you want to buy the 1.56 earned run average and ride the elevator up 3 points in the second half of the season? Or do you want to just say, hey, thanks, but no thanks, Texas? So I'm not ripping you. I'm just saying,
Right,
I laugh at a phone call from Texas if they ask me about Martin Perez.
I am throwing out names that I believe are going to be out there. So, yes, I am not on the train of Martin Perez. I think probably starting in July will fall apart.
There are 2 names on that list that matter. And maybe there's more names that might pop up at some point in the next 2 months because a lot can happen and teams can fall out of the race or whatever. But the only 2 names that make an actual impact, because again, your goal isn't to find a number 5 starter. Like if your rotation gets to that point, you got enough guys. You have Bailey Ober and I'm forgetting his name, but the guy who's going to pitch a rehab start tomorrow night in St. Paul, Winder, right? Like
Winder.
You got enough guys who can fill out your rotation when guys come back healthy. I'm looking for playoff rotation caliber starters that move the needle to help the Twins win a playoff game, win a playoff series, and do actual damage. Enough of this running, inferior starting pitchers out against the Astros and the Yankees in the playoffs. The only 2 names that matter on that list are Frankie Montas. We've talked a lot about him over the last 2 months. He's 29 years old. Or you might not have even included him, but he's on the list of. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, he's definitely included.
Yep, he's signed through 2023. He's one of the best starting pitchers in baseball. Here's the other thing about Montas. The Twins have played 57 games this season. 57 games. They have 3 outings of 7 innings or more from starting pitchers. That's it. As an entire team, only 3 times in 57 games has a Twin starting pitcher completed 7 innings or more. Montas has done it 4 times by himself, and he's regularly going into the 6th and then the 7th inning. He's old school in that regard. And that, my God, a starting pitcher can actually pitch into the 7th inning in 2022.
That's self-inflicted, though, right? But by the Twins, they are drawing that line on everybody.
It's partially self-inflicted. It's also partially they don't trust Chris Archer. They don't trust Dylan Bunn. They don't have enough guys they trust to go 6-7 innings.
But
Montas would be the best pitcher and the most, I think, the biggest horse, so to speak, in the rotation.
I'd be curious if they let Montas pitch as deep into games as the A's do. That's all I'm saying.
But it's working for him. I mean, he doesn't.
Dude, I'm not arguing.
Shut down 3rd time through the order.
I'm not debating you. I'm saying I'd be curious to see if they allowed him that freedom.
Well, don't purchase a Ferrari and then cap the speedometer at 62 miles an hour. If you're going to trade for Montas, part of the reason why you trade for Montas is so you don't have to use 6 relievers every game to get through the nine innings, right?
You're preaching to the choir.
Okay.
I'm with you. I'm saying I'd be curious if they would allow it. That's all I'm saying.
So he is the absolute needle-moving guy. You'd have to give up probably 2 of your top 10 prospects. I don't know. You might even have to give up, just based on what some of the reports were, a major league ready player or a player with major league experience. Alex Kirilloff. Like, they might ask for Alex Kirilloff. It might have to be like Kirilloff and, a pitching prospect or something. And then you have to make a tough decision. Is it worth giving up 6 years of Kirilloff? You already have Larnach. You got Kepler. You can find guys who can play first base and corner outfield spots, and you get 1.5 years of Frankie Montas. Mm-hmm. The other name that matters on that list is Luis Castillo. So he's 29 years old. The Reds are terrible, always. He signed through 2023. Now, he had some mild shoulder issues to start the season, so he didn't pitch in the month of April, but he's made 5 starts since coming back. He's been very good. Since 2017, Luis Castillo ranks 20th among all starting pitchers in wins above replacement, ahead of Yu Darvish, ahead of Sonny Gray, ahead of Marcus Stroman. So he's not a number one. I don't think he's as good as Frankie Montas, but he's definitely one of your 3 best starting pitchers. And if he's healthy, he's going to strike out a ton of batters, and he's going to move the needle for your rotation. So to me, unless you're desperate to find bodies at some point in the next 2 months because of injuries or whatever, if you're not going for a Frankie Montas or a Luis Castillo, don't even bother. Don't even waste your time and your conversations and your breath and your prospects by trading for any of these other guys. And Kyle Gibson's made a nice little career for himself. Kyle Gibson doesn't help you win a playoff series against the New York Yankees. I'm sorry.
Dex?
I'm out on Kyle Gibson. I'm not out on Martin Perez. He's been one of the
Perez, dude.
He's been one of the best pitchers in the American League. Look, I'm not. He's not 1 or 2 on my pecking order. But Phil, I'm not going to just exclude a dude who has continually gone deep into games and been one of the best pitchers in the AL this year.
For 5 minutes, Declan. He's pitched. Here, let's make a bet right now. Martin Perez's ERA will be over 4 by the time September rolls around. Like, this dude has been in the league for 11 years. 10 of them have been the same. He's made 10 starts this year. What do you think he's going to be in 2 months?
I don't think he's going to be an ace, but he's been a good pitcher. Would you okay, these clowns trotted out Cole Sands on Tuesday and Randy Dobnak in a GD playoff game 3 years ago. Who gives you a better chance to win right now in one of those playoff games? Martin Perez does. Bailey Ober does not. Cole Sands does not. I wouldn't exclude Martin Perez. I'm not just completely out on a guy who has been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year.
Here's what's going to happen. You trade for Martin Perez, and you run him out in a playoff game against Aaron Judge, and you will go on this exact same rant the very next day on this show, bitching about how do you run Martin Perez out there against that lineup.
I feel like Perez is going to hit the skids, and I think he did the same thing here in 2019 or 18 in July. So, like, I don't think so. Here's how I feel about Phil, and I like what Phil is doing.
These are twins pitcher beer goggles that are being applied right now. Okay, don't fall into the trap.
Dex, I think I know what Phil. See, I outwardly just get mad, and I feel like you do too. And Phil does at times, but I feel like Phil has more pent-up Twins angst that he keeps contained, and it bubbles to the surface because he's right. Like, you are absolutely correct. Montas and Castillo would be great. Like, those are the type of top of the rotation guys, go out and get them. And now you've got a guy at the top. But I feel like that's your angst of challenging them, which I agree with completely. But you sort of know in the back of your head, they probably won't. And there's a frustration there because in your mind, and I think you're right, that they don't. I mean, there's no precedent for this current administration, and hell, the last one too, to say, you know what, this team's pretty good. What can we do to make it really good? Not by going out and signing Donaldson, but by actually making a trade for a pitcher in July that eventually might hurt. But right now, it's great. And I feel like this goes back to, I think what Phil has, Dex, is Cliff Lee-itis. It goes back to when they didn't go
make a trade for an actual pitcher.
I know, but what I'm saying is when they didn't make the trade for Cliff Lee since then, rightfully so, you've been just like, you keep going getting these scrap heap guys that don't make a difference, that aren't going to start game 1 or 2 of the playoffs you don't trust. And I think your heart's in a good place, but I think it's broken by the ineptitude and the continued insistence that they won't make the type of trade that, you know who made? Toronto. The Berrios trade. Like, it didn't work out perfect, but that's the type of trade you're talking about.
Well, and the Twins made the trade for Sonny Gray before the season, which is kind of shocked everyone. Like, oh my God!
But you're talking about an in-season. To me, there's a difference because you're challenging them to make an in-season trade.
Martin Perez, you go to a garage sale. Martin Perez is like a tricked-up lamp or something that someone bought for $6 on eBay 15 years ago. And oh, look at this lamp you can buy for $50. It's a used car that they've put a wax job on, and oh, look, it starts. The car starts. You want to buy it for $15,000? Listen, we should put some stakes on this. If Martin Perez's ERA is still below 4 in like 3 months from right now, then I am happy to sit here and bow down to Declan and admit that I was wrong. But if the Twins' big move at the deadline or anytime in the next 2 months is to trade for Martin Perez, I will laugh for 20 minutes straight on this show and call them idiots.
I think it also
would
depends.
be an absolutely terrible, terrible trade if your plan is to win a playoff series against the Yankees.
It's the price of admission, though. I get it. They're tricking him up, and if they're on the lot saying it's $15,000 or it's multiple or one of your top 10 prospects, I'm with you. I'm probably out on that ask, but I'm not out on a player who has been good this season. I'm not out on that when this rotation is patchwork by spit and luck. I'm not out on Martin Perez for those reasons.
Okay.
All right. Here's the Montage trade.
You can have it. It's all yours.
I'm going to give you guys the Montage trade right now, and I want to know if you guys would do this trade. It is the Berrios trade and more. It's exactly the same trade. Austin Martin, the pitching prospect, and Kirilloff.
Yes. Jordan Woods. Is it Woods Richardson?
Yeah. Yes.
Simeon Woods Richardson.
Simeon Woods
Richardson. But anyway, so it's those two. It's both prospects that you got from Toronto from Berrios and Kirilloff. Are you doing that trade?
Yes.
And Montas is better than Berrios.
Okay.
So you would essentially be trading Berrios for Montas and then getting an extra year on the back end.
And putting
Berrios is a free agent this year.
In the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do that.
I don't know that they would do
asking.
that, though. I mean, by they, I mean the A's. I don't know that the A's would do that at this
I don't know the Twins would do that, you guys.
Okay, then what are we doing here?
I agree.
Then what's the
we
point
are
of the franchise
speculating
existing?
on what we think
I know
do.
what we're doing. I'm saying that what are the Twins doing?
Man,
being conservative. What's the precedent, you guys?
You're right. I know you're
season?
right.
When's the last time this team made a deadline deal where you're like, oh my God, they just knocked my socks off?
Look, I'm close with.
I know.
I'm close with Phil. Phil's pent up frustration trumps mine, and mine probably
Well,
bubbles
mad.
over in more irrational ways.
You're outwardly mad, and I appreciate that. I feel Phil is suppressing, and then it comes out with, I challenge you to do this. I don't disagree with Phil. I'm with Phil. I'm just saying.
One more note on Martin Perez. You know what he is? Like, you guys have been in fantasy leagues before. This is how I win fantasy baseball leagues 20 years ago when I was in college. I would just go and find, like, okay, who are the players on my team in the first month and a half that are amazing right now but don't have a track record of being amazing, and trade them to the idiot owners in the league who think, oh, yeah, this is great. Lou Ford's batting 400. Well, if you want him, it's going to cost you something. Yeah. He is Lou Ford batting 400 through the first 2 months of the season. That's what he is.
If he helps me win a playoff game this year, that's all I care about. I want to win a playoff game.
And I believe I saw a chart. If the season were to end today, they'd be playing the Red Sox in the playoffs.
They wouldn't be
three
home games
the Yankees
in the
left.
So it's a very confusing format, right?
Because it's buys now.
It's the first round is the 3, so they'd be the 3 seed because they're the third division winner, and then they would play the worst wild card team 3 home games if necessary.
Just like the Astros, right? When they played the Astros in the pandemic season.
Was that supposed to be 3 home games and they just didn't make it?
Yeah, they got swept in 2. Yeah.
They didn't make it to the third home game?
Their starting pitching did. They elected not to go with that. But yes.
Yeah.
So same thing.
Okay. All right. Well, we do have old tweets exposed here. Declan, you should put that Martin Perez take on Twitter so we can come back to it in like 3 months and see what happens. Or I'll put mine, and then I'll retweet it.
And
I'll
slap
dunk
it on a
on
graphic.
you, and then you, yes.
Yep.
Or Martin Perez
Teamwork.
wins the Cy Young.
Engagements. Why do you put the stuff out?
By the way, here, old tweets exposed presented today by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. So Federated has been helping business owners for over 100 years, and they do so with an innovative, committed set of people that have been around guiding businesses for a long time here. And they operate through 4 key cornerstones: equity, integrity, teamwork, and respect. Those are the foundational things that support all interactions and decision-making at Federated. Federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. All right, every single week, Declan goes back into the archives and finds old tweets that are incriminating and potentially embarrassing. What do you got for us this week?
All right. Couple Twins Yankees tweets from Phil and I, but I just want to start with this one from Judd because we all have been clapping at Tyler Duffy lately. So let's go back to August 24th of 2020 because it's just kind of funny how things have changed so quickly. No Duffy for 2 consecutive days. This does not feel right.
The Duff man, he was hot back then.
He was great at
2019
the
and
times,
20.
COVID season.
That curveball was working, right? At the time,
time,
that curve.
yes.
And now we could actually
Just
take
hangs
this
there.
same tweet and let's just rephrase it to get rid of the no. So it would be Duffy for 2 consecutive games. This doesn't feel right. Would be
Take
the
out,
tweet.
you're right. Just put a mark through that no, and you got another perfect tweet for now.
Old tweets recycled. It could be.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Edited.
All right. To Phil, September 22nd, 2020, just like a couple days later, is the home run robe what finally pushes the Twins over the top against the New York Yankees? As
Narrator.
this is.
No.
It didn't.
It did
didn't.
not.
It did not.
No, it did.
I did like the
not.
robes.
The
I'm
robes
not
are
a
great.
robe guy. Not a robe. I think we've had this discussion. I
did.
don't like robes.
I don't, but
I feel like I'm in the
I like those
minority
robes.
there, though. I think a lot of people like robes. Do you like
I'm not a
robes,
robe
AJ?
guy.
AJ's here with us. AJ,
Phil
he's the
loves
voice of
robes,
reason
right?
here.
I'm a
Robes are-
robe guy.
Robes are good for bigger guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Suits a
Interesting.
big guy's body type really well.
That's
Agreed.
AJ.
It makes
by
you
the
feel
way, for
comfortable.
anyone who can't see him.
Who's the mystery man?
Yeah, that's AJ. AJ will be filling in for he's not the Cole Sands.
Someone's-
He's a legitimate starting pitching that's going to fill in
Lou
for
Gehrig.
next week. Yeah. All right, one more here.
Jesus. What?
Lou Gehrig.
I know what you're referring to, but like
guy
the
that
audience
replaced-
doesn't, and now you just put a disease on AJ. So
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't put a disease on him. Everybody knows the story.
It's 100
about
years ago.
The guy
You
that
gotta
got
some context.
Hey, kids, Google Lou Gehrig and see who he replaced in his consecutive game streak long before he died.
Yes, do that, kids.
All right, one more for me. This is pretty hilarious. August 13th, 2016. Not saying I'm a fan, but I'm getting used to these two. The future of the Yankees is here, and it's Tyler Austin and Aaron Judge going back to back. I'm looping Tyler Austin and Aaron Judge
God.
as the future of the Yankees. One of those was very accurate, but Tyler Austin, who came to the Twins shortly, I think, like after this trade, is not the future of the Yankees. I don't even know if it's still in baseball.
I think
He's in
Declan
Japan,
wins.
right?
Yeah.
I think he's playing. I think last I saw, Tyler Austin was playing in Japan.
Yeah, he's pretty hot too. Maybe the Twins should trade for him.
Yeah, maybe. He helps you hit a home run
God,
and win a
Phil's
playoff
angst
game.
just through the
I'm
roof.
cool
It's
with it.
great. Declan just taking the brunt of Phil's angst.
Declan wins old tweets exposed for sure for the Tyler Austin reference. A great if we
With
did
Aaron
ra-
Judge.
random twin of the week. I think Tyler Austin would be
Oh, that might be a summer segment. I like
great
that one.
candidate. So, all right, there you have it. That's
contentious today.
Mac and
This is
Judd.
great.
This is what happens when your team hasn't won a damn playoff
Yes.
game in 20 years, fighting over Martin Perez.
I'll take him.
The family is fighting over Martin Perez. He's going to solve all our problems. No. All right. We got to go and talk some Vikings on Purple Daily here. Tomorrow, action movie Rewind. One of Judd's favorite movies of all time, Point Break.
First
The
viewing.
original Point Break,
Yeah, not that. Exactly.
not the sequel.
The sequel,
Or the
awful.
remake or whatever it is. And
Whatever
then
it was, it
Tim
sucked.
Connolly will join the show as well tomorrow. Timberwolves president of basketball operations. See you guys.